Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Ruth and welcome to Time with Ruth. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what I wrote to PhD supervisors, professors, and I believe this video will be helpful because I know many people ask, I want to get a PhD, but I'm not really sure what to send a potential supervisor. So in this video, I'm going to read out 3 emails that I sent on 3 different topics and also some of the supervisors' responses so that this can give you an idea of how to impress a potential PhD supervisor. Stay tuned to find out more and make sure you share this video with someone, as I know it will help someone who's looking for further studies and looking to do either master's or a PhD. So let's go right into it. So dear friends, I'm going to start with my email. So this was a PhD about palliative care, about those people who care for those who have cancer. And this study was going to be one based in Africa. So the subject in terms of the PhD was already chosen out. And this is what I wrote to the PhD supervisor. And as we're going to be reading, you're going to see some trends that I do that will help you when you're thinking about sending that email to a PhD supervisor. And one thing I would add is that I know some people are 50-50. Some people said to me there's no need to send an email because they don't respond. And other people say, you know, it's really good because it makes you look like you're interested. For me, I would say just send an email. Even if they don't respond, at least you've done it, you've showed interest, and you never know, that might make them feel like, wow, this person was really interested. I want to look for their application when I'm sending interviews. So I'm of the school of it's better to send rather to not send, even if it's a PhD like the ones I applied for that already had a subject interest at hand. So for this PhD, I'm going to explain it. So yes, it was one for palliative care, for those who care for people, and also in Africa. So I wanted to do a PhD around health inequalities, and this one as well was about health inequalities. And so this is what I sent the person. So in the email, in the subject area, I wrote potential PhD student. So you're making it clear. And if I was to do this again, I would have probably wrote potential PhD student and put the subject interest at heart. So I start this email by saying, Dear Dr. So-and-so, good morning and Happy New Year. So this was me at the start of January 2023 when I was applying. So I said, my name is Ruth. I've completed a BSc in psychology at the University and so in 2018. And an MSc in Psychological Research Methods at the University of Sheffield in 2020. Now, after years of working, I decided to take up a challenge to do a PhD as I want to broaden my horizons as a researcher. I've recently seen the PhD scholarship in addressing health inequalities in advanced illnesses at regional, national and international levels at the University of so-and-so. And I'm interested in applying for your project on the roles and experience of informed carers providing care to people with advanced illnesses in sub-Saharan Africa. After looking at your profile on the University and so-and-so's website, I can see we share similar interests. That is key. I'm interested in doing a research project around the topic of health inequalities in Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities. My interest in health inequalities in healthcare sector greatly developed in 2020. During this period, I had an opportunity to conduct a research proposal of my choice for an assignment. I chose to do a proposal surrounding the topic of Black men and mental health and the barriers to seeking professional help. Finding relevant papers for this assignment opened my eyes to the existing research related to inequalities within healthcare services and the steps to reduce these inequalities. Preparing for this research proposal led me to independently read about the subject areas such as improving healthcare services in Africa. This is related to his research. Therefore, I'm passionate about providing research that would enhance the health and well-being of others by addressing and improving inequalities in accessing healthcare on a global level. And also the next paragraph I write here is a question, because I'm passionate about Africa, so I also wrote here, I also wanted to ask if this project would open up the opportunity for international travel, as after I graduated in 2018, I did do a placement in Kenya, and recently, whilst I was in Ghana, I was able to spend time in my grandpa's clinic, and it was surely a rewarding experience. So there, I'm just literally saying my personal experiences just to really highlight why I'm really interested in this. And then lastly, I've also attached my CV for an overview of my relevant experiences that I've had, and I'm happy to discuss this project at a time that works for you. Kind regards, Ruth. So in this email that I sent, there's very key things that I want to say here. So when you're sending an email to a potential PhD supervisor, it's very important for you to come up with an academic CV and attach this in your email, because it really shows why you're interested in this. It shows your experience, and it also shows that you're a serious candidate. You also want to put in your subject header PhD, potential student, or something like that, and also the area of interest. And then also when you're starting this email, to address them by what they are, if they be a professor, whether it be a doctor, because this is the first impression. So you want to address them with their credentials. Yes, over time, you know, like right now with my supervisor, I'm not saying dear professor all the time, because I think we've got to that stage where it's a first name basis. But in the beginning stages, it's very important to address these things. Also, one thing I can find in terms of this email is that I'm introducing myself from an academic standpoint. So I'm saying what degrees I've had, the subject area, the universities, when I've graduated. So I'm kind of introducing who I am in the beginning part of this, because these people don't know you. So just address who you are in this. In the second part as well, I'm saying as well why I'm sending an email. So in this second part, I've seen a PhD advertised online, a scholarship in the area of health inequalities. Then in the next paragraph, I'm really showing as well why me and this potential supervisor were aligned. So one key thing I like about what I wrote here is I say that we have shared similarities. I've done my research, I've read their profile, and I kind of can see that what this person's research area is, and also the research area that I'm interested in, is aligned. So I'm sharing that we are aligned in this area, but I'm also showing as well where my passion stemmed from. In this particular email, I talked about 2020 was when I really got interested in health inequalities and how this developed, and kind of showing why I'm passionate about this chosen topic. And then I even propose a question at the end. So for me, this question was a genuine one, because international travel, Africa, this, you know, really resonates with me. I done a placement in Kenya, in different places for some months. So this is kind of like me talking about my real life experiences, how they're aligned with his, and how I could also be a great candidate. And then lastly, showing that I am being a professional here. So I'm sending my CV for him to see my relevant experiences and how this is aligned to this project. And also as well saying that, you know, I'm happy to talk about this. So if you wanted to know more, we know professors, we know doctors are quite busy, but at least you're putting it out there so you can discuss, etc. So now I'm just going to read his response to this. So I found it was quite encouraging when I got responses. So I only applied for 3 PhDs, and all the supervisors actually did get back to me in the email. So I guess different places are different, but I will just read you like a response he said. So he said, Hi Ruth, thank you for your email and interest in the PhD. Sorry for your delay in getting back to you. Your CV looks like you have very good relevant education and work experience for the position, including using quantitative and qualitative methods. In your application, you'll need to make it clear why you're interested in doing a PhD relevant to palliative care and how your experience will enable you to be able to do so, and particularly why you're interested in a PhD with a global focus, any significant writing you've done, and interest in experience of carers, because that was the topic. You'll also make it clear why you see the University of so-and-so as a place to forward your education. And then he answers my question. As for international travel, I must give a vague answer for now. I'm afraid because of the small amount of money will be available for data collection. We have requested additional funds for the global PhD from the faculty, but have not had an answer yet. It would be prudent, therefore, to not expect funding for international travel for data collection as part of the PhD, though this may change. If you have any specific questions about the project, I would have some time free next week, or I'm happy to give an early response via email. Good luck with your application, so-and-so. So one thing I really like about this response is that I didn't particularly say in my email what would make me the best candidate, but through this email, he now gave me some really good things to think about. For example, to make it clear why I'm interested in this topic, why I want to do a PhD with global focus, why I want to go to this university. So by making this contact with this supervisor, I now have a bit more to think about while writing the application. So that's why I'm of the school of thought is better to write than to not write. So again, we see this was an encouragement for me as I was able to do this. So now I'm going to read another one. I guess it's very similar of what I wrote before. So this is another email I sent another professor, and this is all during the time period of January, because this was the time period where I was seeking for a job, seeking for a PhD, etc. And I decided to send emails to 3 because I really wanted to make sure that I was sending emails to topic interests that I was interested in, because this is something you'll be doing for 3 years. So I thought to myself, let me make sure that I'm interested in this. So this one that I applied for was an interesting PhD. So it was about breast cancer for women from black backgrounds. I think it was either going to be black women or Asian women, and also barriers to healthcare. So as I said before, I wanted to do something about health inequalities. I was very flexible. I didn't mind what topic area, but just about health inequalities and also race. So this is why I reached out to this professor. So again, the email will be similar to what I read before, but I'll read this again just to show you as well what I said depending on the different topic. So it says, Dear Professor so-and-so, good morning and Happy New Year. My name is Ruth. I completed a BSc in psychology at the University of so-and-so in so-and-so year, an MSc in psychological research methods at University of Sheffield in so-and-so. And now after working, I decided to take up the challenge to do a PhD as I want to broaden my horizon as a researcher. Said that before, but this second part is a bit different. So it says, I've recently seen the Excellence in Diversity PhD scholarship at the University of so-and-so, and I'm interested in applying for your project in improving equality of access to national screening program for ethnic minority women. I've done some research and realized that most studies in this area have mostly been conducted in the USA. So it would be my delight to be able to be part of developing research within the NHS and University of so-and-so. So I think, again, this paragraph that I added here was really good because it shows that I've actually looked in this area of research. I've seen that this research, particularly the one that the professor was doing, there wasn't really much research on this in the UK, just America. So putting that in there is really showing this supervisor that, oh, this lady has done her research. She knows that this research would be, you know, quite new in the UK, and this would be a great opportunity if she was interested in. Then the second part is quite similar to the other part. After looking at your profile at the university or so-and-so's website, I can see that we have similar interests. I'm interested in doing a research project around health inequality in Black, minority, ethnic groups. My interest in health inequality developed in 2020. So again, I'm saying the same thing, so I'm not going to read it at all. And then I end by saying, therefore, I'm passionate of providing research that would enhance the health and well-being of others by addressing and improving inequalities in accessing healthcare. And then again, I say that I've attached my CV with my relevant experience, and I'm happy for to discuss it at any time. So this for me is again very important. So in this one, I specifically actually did read research in this area, seeing that it wasn't really in the UK. So showing that you've gone and done a bit of research, I think was really helpful. And he had a response for me. So he said, "Dear Ruth, thank you for your interest. I've looked at your CV and you would be a strong candidate for this PhD. To apply, you need to apply online by form by the 25th of January. You don't need to discuss to put in an application, even though the advert was saying that I need to. But I'm happy to chat if that's helpful. Alternately, if you have any questions, feel free to email me." So again, this PhD was more of one that the topic interest was already there. So funny enough, the PhD topics were already there in this one and also in the last one. And that's kind of how it happened. So for me, I was really encouraged to receive that response, because not all the time people respond because it's quite busy. So I'm happy they responded. And then through then, I ended up just having emails of just asking. So for this one, I actually got an interview, and hopefully I will do a video about PhD interviews. So this one I got an interview for, and also the last one. So this next one that I'm going to read is a bit of a different one. So I first looked online on the university website, and this is the one that I actually chose to do. And I emailed the lady, and she first told me that she's quite busy and she's got enough PhD supervisors. So I looked again, and I think she also suggested people that would be interested in the subject area that I sent. So this is now an email that I sent to the second person, so I'll read that one. So I said, "Dear Professor so-and-so, Happy New Year. My name is Ruth." As I said before, you know, the same old, not same old, let me not say it that way. This the same that I said before. So what is a bit different here is that I see a scholarship. So there's a scholarship that's connected with this university, and I talk about it. So I said, "I've recently seen the White Rose Studentship Scholarship 2023, and I'm interested in applying for the Wellbeing, Health and Communities Pathway Scholarship and a PhD." For this application, you had to put two applications. So you had to put a PhD for the university, and you had to also make a separate application for the scholarship. But in both of these, you had to make sure that you had a supervisor. So that's why I think I said, oh, I'm trying to apply for the scholarship and also the PhD at this university. Again, for this, I do say that paragraph about similar interests. And for me, this is all true, because all the profiles I looked at, this supervisor was aligned in the research that I wanted to do. Health inequality, she had done so much research in different area groups, in faith, in also women from different backgrounds. So it was really aligned in terms of her research. So I said, "I've had a look at your profile at the university, and I can see we have similar interests. I'm interested in doing a project in health inequalities in Black and Asian minority communities, or also mental health, but I'm quite open. Is there any research areas that you currently have in mind? I'm happy to discuss this over the phone or via video call if you have time. I've attached my CV and also my relevant experience that I have. Also, I have only recently seen this scholarship opportunity. I do understand the deadline may be tight to come up with a research proposal, but I just thought to see if we might have enough time. So for me, I'm actually so grateful because this time period was so short in terms of this scholarship, and this is actually the one that I chose. So I saw the scholarship and I was like, wow, the deadline is in like so short, like maybe a week or something. And for this one, it wasn't like the other ones where there was a proposal already there. This one you had to basically talk with your supervisor and come up with a proposal. So that's why in this email it's a bit different to the rest, because now I'm asking if this supervisor has a topic in mind. I tell her what my interests are, and if she has a topic, we can discuss it over phone or video call. So actually that is what happened. So I was so happy that this supervisor was able to give me time, and it was such a short amount of time to submit a PhD application, but we did it, we thank God. So it says, "Dear Ruth, thank you for getting in touch and all the best wishes in your coming year too. This time scale is very tight, but I have a proposal on, this area that might be the basis of your PhD studies. If you're to scale down and adapt, let me know if this is an interest. I can send you the overview and you can adapt it for the form. If we do proceed, please send me the first draft of your application within the few days so that we can assess how realistic it would be to submit." And then she asked me if I've done the other application form, because I told you for this PhD it wasn't like the other one where it's just one application. This one was one for the university and one for the scholarship. So if you got accepted on the university and not the scholarship, it kind of was like you didn't get in. So it was like two things. Then she said then she also asks me to source out another supervisor who has a very strong background in quantitative, because she was more of a qualitative researcher. So this was like so good, because I knew now that I had a very short amount of time. I had to get things done really quickly, find a supervisor who'd done quantitative, but she was also able to help as well. So after this, she sends me a proposal that we can adapt, and then I had to send it to her by the end of Wednesday. So that gave me a few days. I had to just really quickly get it done. And thankfully as well, this is the one I done. So everything kind of happened quickly. The deadline was short for this one, but I was just saying it's so good to send emails. There may be times you apply for PhD and they don't respond to your emails, but I found it quite beneficial because down in the line, my PhD funding apparently was only going to be 50%. But because of the report that I built with the supervisor, she really helped in terms of making sure I got fully funded PhD scholarship. So it's very important to email. Don't feel discouraged if any of your supervisors don't respond, because I have heard it's quite normal with their busy schedules. They might not respond to potential PhD students, but just send it anyways, because you never know. Remember in the first one, the first supervisor told me basically the things to consider in the application. The second one also really helped and sent the link and was like, make sure you do it by this day as well, and also said that my CV looked good, so it kind of encouraged me. And then the third one, that was the one I ended up going with, and she was able to help me in terms of getting the proposal, doing my application. It was just so helpful. So I would say that it's best to send an email rather than not. So dear friends, let me know if you found this video helpful. What are some things you learned from this video? And make sure you subscribe. It is free. Let us subscribe. Subscribe, share this video with someone, as I know that it will truly help someone who is thinking of applying for a PhD. See you later and have a lovely day. Bye.